ग्रामीण और असंगठित क्षेत्र के कई लोग अभी भी स्वास्थ्य बीमा से वंचित रह जाते हैं। मेरा माननीय मंत्री महोदय से प्रश्न है कि क्या सरकार आयुष्मान भारत प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य योजना को बढ़ाकर दूर दराज क्षेत्रों में इसकी पहुंच और जागरूकता बढ़ाने की कोई योजना बना रही है?
Honorable Minister.
Sir, health insurance is a priority for this government. In fact, we are hoping that by the year, as a matter of industry and its policy, by 2033, it is expected that we will have insurance cover for all. In fact, in December 2025, we brought in a bill whereby we had increased the FDI coverage to 100%, but primarily aiming to bring greater penetration and deepen the insurance market. One specific data which I have given in the answer, but I think it's worth recalling, sir. Particularly because the Honourable Member is speaking about rural areas, I would like to highlight the fact that the IRDAI, the insurance regulator, has notified Insurance Regulatory Development Authority rules for the rural social sector and motor third-party obligations in 2024, whereby Gram Panchayat level inclusion happens for insurance. So remotest areas will be covered by that. In this, the way in which it's going to be organized is the unit of measurement for coverage and for rural obligation will be the Gram Panchayat. So keeping the Gram Panchayat as a unit, they will have to understand the level of coverage which prevails and how much more will have to be provided. In that connection, I would like to inform through you, sir, that 25,000 Gram Panchayats will be covered this time with a Gram Panchayat being at the focal center and looking at coverage of insurance in and around that area. That way we are trying to reach the fastest and the rural areas.
Second supplementary, Shriman Govindbhai Lalji Dholakia ji.
माननीय महोदय श्री, देश में अभी भी निजी स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं तक सामान्य जन की पहुंच कम है। मेरा माननीय मंत्री महोदया से प्रश्न है कि क्या सरकार सस्ता स्वास्थ्य बीमा हर नागरिक तक पहुंचाने के लिए निजी बीमा कंपनियों की भागीदारी बढ़ाने के लिए कोई कदम उठा रहा है?
Honorable Minister.
So health insurance is growing in this country, sir. Whilst it is true that overall, if you were looking at insurance in general, we have a challenge in that we have per capita premium. If you're looking at individuals who are getting covered by insurance in total, not just health insurance, insurance in total, you have only $97 per capita as insurance premium inclusive of health, whereas global average is 943. If that is the case with overall insurance related coverage in terms of per capita, on health insurance, sir, we have been taking a lot of specific steps so that people are able to get coverage. So you know, through the GST, which was much discussed in this house, health insurance was given a priority. People wondered why we had to levy a GST on health insurance premium. So we are opening up on health by one thing, that the health insurance premiums will no longer have the GST if it's individual. So health insurance, sir, but with all this said, is rapidly expanding as a market, and actually today we have 1,17,505 crores just in 24-25, and 58 crore lives have been covered with insurance. Whilst this is the general coverage in terms of numbers, public sector insurers, particularly through health premiums, cover nearly give cover of worth 42,420 crores. Private sector does it 37,752 crores. And standalone health insurance companies are doing 37,331. But for the poorest of the poor, on health insurance coverage, the honorable member will be familiar with the fact that the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Bima Suraksha Yojana, then also insurance cover for any accident, so that if a person loses his eye or a limb, he gets a coverage. These health-related insurances have subsidy given by the government, in the sense because they end up paying a very nominal premium for health coverages. And during COVID, I can expand by saying, even without even waiting for a death certificate, the health insurance companies were driven to give health, the insured amount without any delay. So I just want to highlight that the premium rates are also very keeping people in mind. The Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, sir, takes 436 rupees per year, and it is like every year. Suppose you paid 436 rupees premium, and in this year you have a problem, being a poor person, you get 2 lakh rupees within that year, 1 year premium paid, but within that year, if some unfortunate incident happens and the person loses life, the next of kin gets 2 lakh. So the government has made sure the premium is not higher than that, and this can be renewed every year. Jeevan Jyoti Bima, therefore, I want to cumulative enrollments. Government is also driving to make sure poor people get covered. 26.79 crore people have been given Jeevan Jyoti Bima coverage.
Third supplementary, Srimati Priyanka Chaudhary ji.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. Sir, my question through you would be, over 70% of health expenditure in India is borne out of pocket by patients, and 3.2% of Indians fall below the poverty line annually due to excessive medical costs, with 31% and 47% of hospitalizations in urban and rural areas respectively, financed through loans or asset sales. Does the government acknowledge that the absence of universal health insurance coverage is pushing crores into debt and poverty, sir?
Honourable Minister.
So it is only because we want to extend insurance coverage to the poorest of the poor. Cashless system was brought in. This Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, about which I have just elaborated a minute ago. Poor people should be covered under insurance scheme, and that is why government has been through the banks and through every other agency approaching every individual to have a coverage, and where government gives its own part or component of the insurance premium and extending coverage. I've given the number of how many people are getting covered, and I'm also explaining as to how we are going to the rural, poorest of the poor belt stretches and extending coverage. So government is keen to give coverage for all under insurance.
Shriman Mayank Kumar Nayak ji.
सोमनाथ सर, थैंक यू चेयरमैन सर। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी देश की जनता को आरोग्य के क्षेत्र में आयुष्मान भारत कार्ड की कवच देकर सभी को आरोग्य की सुविधा उपलब्ध हो, वैसा कार्य कर रहे हैं। मैं माननीय मंत्री आदरणीय निर्मला सीतारमण जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि निजी क्षेत्र की स्वास्थ्य बीमा कंपनियों द्वारा स्वास्थ्य बीमा प्रीमियम बढ़ाने जाने के सरकार ने कोई मापदंड निर्धारित किए हैं क्या? यदि हां, तो उनका विवरण क्या है तथा निजी क्षेत्र की बीमा कंपनियों की इस मनमाने को रोकने के लिए सरकार ने क्या-क्या कदम उठाए? थैंक यू चेयरमैन सर।
Honourable Minister.
Sir, private sector insurance companies or public sector companies are all very systematically and methodically regulated by the insurance regulator. And if there are any wrongdoings by insurance companies, the regulator acts upon them, and I just want to highlight, to give an example or give some select examples to prove that action is taken promptly the moment any complaint is received. I can also explain as to how complaints can be registered. But before that, just to make sure that in the last 3 years, we can give examples of how insurance companies, when they have done something which is wrong as per the law, have been taken to task and punishments were, or imposed, fines have been imposed. Sir, I just want to highlight the fact that if there is undue influence by insurance companies using their dominant position, or when they make false and misleading claims, misrepresent facts, or if they omit facts or features while selling insurance, or by not taking reasonable care to ensure suitability of the policy, all these are acts of omission and commission on which companies are taken to task. I would like to highlight the fact, sir. In 23-24, 2 crore fine was levied, a penalty. I use the word fine in a bit loose fashion. 2 crore rupees was levied as penalty on an insurance company, Reliance General Insurance Company, for having not done fair practice, unfair business practice. So the honorable member can take such examples. I'll give you 2 more. In 24-25, Bajaj Finance Limited was levied a penalty of 2 crore. HDFC Life Insurance levied a fine of 2 crore. SBI Life Insurance levied a fine of 1 crore, and so on. So action is taken immediately when Royal Sundaram General Insurance, 1 crore, and so on. So if insurance cover is extended without obtaining the consent of the insured, they are levied a fine. Erroneous allocation of premium by insurer, or delay in settlement of maturity claims and survival benefits, non-payment of interest, all such offences are taken upon, inquired into, and then penalties are levied. So wrongdoing does not go unpunished, sir. And of course, there are ways in which people can reach the insurance regulator or the CP Grams, which is the central government's grievance redressal portal. If complaints reach us, we take action.